Thank you for your interest in Decipher TextMessage. This video is all about using Decipher TextMessage's deleted message recovery feature in order to find messages that have been deleted from your iPhone, iPad, or iPod Touch. I've started by opening to our product page to show that even though I'm on a Mac, this program is also available for Windows. And to get started using the program, you'd want to click Try Decipher TextMessage to download our free trial and see if you have any messages that can be recovered. So I'm going to use the program as if it was the first time I was doing deleted message recovery on a phone and show you the order that I would do things in the program. So the very first thing I'm going to do before I plug in my iPhone or anything like that is I'm just going to run Decipher TextMessage once. Since Decipher TextMessage reads the backup files automatically from your iTunes backup folder, and we can see if we look at this backups loaded window, it found a backup of my iPhone from July 2nd and of my iPad from earlier actually March of 2012. So I wanted to do this just in case we have a backup already of our iPhone that actually has the messages that you're interested in finding. And you may be able to tell this from the date of the backup and the device and things like that, or you can poke around in the program and look at some of the messages that you see and see if they're useful or the ones that you're looking for. One thing I want to point out real quick, if you're doing this or kind of looking at the span in the trial of what messages you have, when you first do this in the program, it's going to show you the older messages first, but you can go to the sort and change that and then show the newest first, and that'll give you a good sense, even though you can only see 3 messages at a time, of whether the messages you're looking for are actually they're in the backups that were already on the computer, if the dates of them work out. If not, what we want to do is actually close Decipher TextMessage and make a new backup of your iPhone if you still have it, so that we can have, in addition to the older information that we just read in, some of the newer information. So let's close this, and now we're going to open iTunes, and just real quick show you how to make a backup on your computer of your iPhone. Depending on your iTunes settings, you'll either see your iPhone, iPad, or iPod Touch up in the upper right-hand corner of iTunes as a button, or you might see it on the left-hand side. It'll appear under the Devices heading if you have a list along the left-hand side of your iTunes window. Either way, click on the device that you're interested in, assuming that it's plugged in, and in this Summary tab that pops up, the very first window that you should see, in the second box down, you should see a backup section. And whether or not you have iCloud or this computer selected, we can still back up to this computer. The one thing we want to make sure is that this encrypt iPhone backup is unchecked. So we're going to click Backup Now to make a new backup of your device. And depending on how long it's been since the last time you made a backup, this may take a while, since it's going to copy all of your text message information, camera roll photos from your phone to your computer. And you can skip anything else if you want for syncing or transferring purchases, or you can let it go ahead and do it. And you'll know that the backup is done. Once it's finished, you'll see the latest backup date change, and these buttons turn back from gray to black. All right, so now that we've made a new backup in iTunes, we're going to reopen Decipher TextMessage. And again, Decipher TextMessage is going to read the information automatically from our iPhone backups. And if you look at this backups loaded window, you can see that we have newer date stamps on our backup. Now what we're going to do is click on the device that we're interested in and click the Recover button. And what this is going to do is scan the SMS database files for messages that were deleted. When the messages are deleted, they're not actually fully deleted, they're just sort of marked as space that can be reused. So they're available for a while before the space is reused on the phone. When the deleted message recovery is finished scanning, it's actually going to open the results in your web browser. And depending on how quickly your computer processes messages and how many messages you have, this web page may take a little while to load, so just be patient. One thing I want to note, if you're using Internet Explorer, you may see a little red box when this page first appears, and it's telling you to look for a button that says to allow block content either at the top or bottom of the window. And this is just because this search box and this pagination here actually use some JavaScript to process the messages. And since this is a local file instead of hosted on the internet, you need permission in Internet Explorer to run it. So now that we have our list of recovered messages, I want to walk through some of the techniques that you can use to find the messages that you're actually interested in finding. So let's point out a little bit of what we've got here. So to the best that it's able, Decipher TextMessage will figure out the message text as well as the other party or parties, if it's a group text message conversation, involved in the message. And you can see that in my list here, we've got some names, and you would see phone numbers, but we have to protect the innocent here. And sometimes you see things like deleted contact or deleted contact and a number. Let's see if we can, let's use the search to look at some of these deleted contacts. So you can see some just say deleted contact and some say a number. Starting in iOS 6, it's become a lot more difficult sometimes to actually match the message to the person that it was actually having a communication with. And in those cases, we do the best that we can. You saw that there is actually quite a bit of real recipients. But when the message recipient information has actually been deleted and we can't recover it, we do the best that we can, and if we can't figure out anything, it just shows deleted contact. Otherwise, you might see deleted contact and a number. And one thing that you can at least know is that if you see the same deleted contact and the number, those are actually the same contact. We just don't know who it is. So that's a little bit about the contacts. So when you first open this window, the messages are actually sorted by date with the newest one first, because we assume that you're actually interested in recovering recent deleted text messages. However, sometimes the date isn't actually recoverable. And if I flip this, we can see that I actually have quite a few messages from 1969. I like to tell people the date is either right or it's really wrong. So if you have a date that seems reasonable, it's probably correct. But otherwise, you might actually have quite a few messages that have the wrong date. And so they're not going to appear where you expect them to appear in this list when you're just kind of scrolling through it. So I like to use the search functionality to help me find the messages that I'm interested in if I know something that I can search on. So for example, I could say that I knew that I have a message with the word freezer in it, and I actually see a couple messages with the word freezer in it, and that's a kind of a good way to filter the list down to what you might be interested in seeing. Or if you want, you could try to search first for the name of the person that the text message was with, or some of the phone number. In my case, since all the phone numbers are 555, that isn't going to help very much. Or if we come down here, and I'm going to change this from 50 at a time to just 10 at a time to help make this window a little bit easier to see. Or you can just sit and kind of next through the messages and see what there is to see. And of course, if you want to see way more at a time, you can do that by changing that show as setting right there. So let's say you don't find the message that you're interested in finding. Down at the bottom of this window, we have a list of what we call message fragments. And the idea of the fragments is that while we were trying to find deleted text messages, we found some stuff that we think might be text messages, but we don't have all of the information, such as the recipient information or the date information, or whether or not it was sent or received. But we do have some text that we think might be a message. So they're down here in this message fragment section, and you can kind of do the same thing and search for words or phrases that you think you remember being in the message to kind of filter through these. You can see that we kind of got a couple of messages there, even though we don't have all of the information about them. So let's filter this down here. And you may want to actually export these so that you can use them in a text editor or something. So now I'm going to click the Export Search Results button. and I'll get a nice comma-separated list that I can use in my text editor. So I'm going to use Command A on a Mac or Control A if I was on a Windows machine when I clicked inside this box to select all, and then I can copy it and I can paste it into Microsoft Word or TextEdit or Pages or whatever kind of word processing app you like to use. If I'm interested in not just the list that I had filtered to, I can do Export All. Let me close that again so you can see it. Export All. And this is actually going to give me the entire list of text messages. And this is good if you need everything, or if you don't like this web page and you want to search for it yourself using a text editor or something like that. So I hope this video was helpful getting you started using Decipher TextMessage to recover your deleted text messages. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to contact us at info@deciphermedia.com.